Hey folks, I'm Anand and welcome to MaverickEduCor, your go-to destination for all PTE needs. Make sure to contact us on the WhatsApp number or on the email ID mentioned right below because we provide free consultation services for students who have not achieved their dream score in the previous attempts. Additionally, we offer paid assistance for people who are looking to achieve their dream score in the PTE exam. On this note, let's go ahead and see today's video. In this video, we will discuss the questions that are not so important in your PTE exam. They will not make any dent or they will not have any impact on your scores by a huge margin. So make sure you don't practice like any other questions and you don't put more efforts, especially on these question types. Now that you know what the topic is all about, let's go ahead and see the question types. Especially in your speaking module, in reading module, in listening module, you get these questions. Overall, you have about 7 questions. In your speaking module, you have one question which is answer short question, which is not so important. In your reading module, you get 2 MCQs, which you should not bother about. But in the listening module, you get 4 questions. In reading, as I've told, it is 2. Whereas in listening, you'll get 4 questions, 2 MCQs, 1 highlight correct summary and 1 select missing words. So these are the number of questions and these are the question types that you should never bother about. One pro tip to offer for these question types is I would recommend don't spend a lot of time for practicing these questions. Instead, understand the concept of answering these questions effectively and efficiently so that you can manage time in your entire PT exam. Alright folks, now moving ahead, let's look at the number of questions that you would get for each question type. Now, only for answer short question, you would get about 5 to 6 questions. But for the rest of the questions, you would just get about 1 to 2 of them. So do not worry too much on these questions. Alright folks, PTE has introduced minor changes with regards to the following questions on 10th July 2025. These changes would be applicable starting 7th August 2025 for the following questions such as reading multiple choice, listening multiple choice, and highlight correct summary. They have increased the number of questions from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 questions respectively for these 5 questions. There will be an impact on scores as well, but it is not as huge as you think. We will see it in the next slide. Now, let's look at the skills and the approximate marks that PTE will allocate you for these question type. First and foremost, let's look at answer short question. Here, you will be getting 0 marks for speaking even though you come up with an answer. Instead, PTE is just testing your listening skills, whether you are able to respond to a question or not. That is why it is giving marks for listening module, not for speaking module. Here you will get about 4 to 6 marks only for your listening module. Remember this, that is the beauty of this question. For all the other question types, apart from answer short question, you will just be getting about 1 to 2 marks for each of these question types in the respective module. And this is the very reason that I was telling that do not concentrate or do not put more effort in practicing these questions. You are not getting a huge amount of marks, especially in these question type. As mentioned earlier, these changes will impact from 7th August 2025. So the scoring criteria will be slightly changed for reading MCQs and listening MCQs with highlight correct summary questions. The marks will be increased by 2 to 3. Earlier, it was just 1 to 2 marks. Even though this scoring criteria has changed, it will not make a huge impact on your overall scores. So you can still consider these questions as not so important questions. On this note, stay tuned. I will be releasing a detailed video about all the changes brought in by PTE. Stay tuned for that video, folks. Moving ahead, let's look at a representational image of each question type so that you can understand the concept of answering each of these question types. Beginning with answer short question. Here, PTE will play you one audio. You have to listen to the audio. Generally, it will be a question. You will have to come up with an answer. As I told you earlier, PT is giving you marks only for your listening module. Even though you speak an answer, PTE will not give marks for speaking module. Once you complete answering this question, go ahead and click next for the next question type in your exam. Moving ahead, let's look at another question type, which is reading multiple choice, choose multiple answer. Here, PT recommends that you read the entire paragraph and the answer options as well. Additionally, it says that you would need to choose one or more options as an answer. Instead, the best way to approach this particular question is you don't have to read the paragraph at all. Just select one of the options and click next and move on to the next question type. There is one small catch over here. In case you select two of the options and both are wrong, you will end up getting 0 marks. You will not get negative marks. On the other hand, if you select two options also, if one of this answer is correct and the other option is incorrect, you will still get 0 marks. So remember, either you will get 0 marks or 1 mark for this question type. Moving on to the next question of your reading module, which is multiple choice, choose single answer. In this question also, don't waste time in reading the paragraph. Instead, randomly select one of the options and click next for the next question type in your exam. For both of the MCQs in your reading module, I would recommend not to spend more than 10 seconds also. Randomly select one of the options, immediately click next for the next question type, because here reading and writing fill in the blanks and reading fill in the blanks is the most important questions in your reading module. So make sure to put all the energy in these two questions. Now moving on to the listening module questions, which are not so important. First and foremost, as a disclaimer, remember this. PTE will enforce you to listen to the entire length of the audio. You cannot skip or you cannot move forward. Instead, what could you do? Especially for multiple choice, choose multiple answers. While listening to the audio, go ahead and skim through the options. You may find the answer. So what could you do? You could select one of the options and click next. But don't make this mistake in selecting multiple options. If you go wrong, for example, just like your reading MCQ, choose multiple answers. If you do two mistakes, you will end up getting 0 marks. Okay? But if you select one option which is correct and the other option is incorrect, then still you will get 0 marks. Instead, just choose one option. If you are lucky, you will get 1 mark for that question. Now moving on to highlight correct summary of your listening module. In this question also, I would recommend you to select one of the answer options randomly. Don't waste time after the audio has stopped playing. Select one of the options, click next for the next question type in your exam. The next question of the listening module is multiple choice, choose single answer. In this particular question also, listen, skim and select one random option, then click next for the next question type in your exam. Moving on to the last question, which is not so important. Select missing word. It is part of your listening module. In this particular question, PTE will play an audio. This audio will always have a beep sound at the end of the audio. Now, once you hear the beep sound, make sure to skim through the answer options. Generally, these options will be a collocation. Select one of the options and then move on to the next question type. Now that you have seen the 4 questions that are not so important of the listening module, remember to manage your time effectively so that you can attempt all the questions of right from dictation. Right from dictation will fetch you the maximum amount of marks in your entire listening module. Fine folks, we have come to the end of this video. In case of any doubts or any queries, make sure to contact us on the WhatsApp number or on the email ID mentioned right below. We will be more than happy to help you with any questions that you can come up with. I'm wishing you all the very best for your exams.